Hey buddies, here we are on the 5th day of Wii U week. It is Thursday and we have covered almost everything that we have wanted to cover for the Wii U. Yesterday we did a comparison video of the Black Ops that the kids are playing these days, compared the Wii U version to the 360 version. That video, I'll link it below, is basically the findings were it's the same, pretty much. The Wii had a few little, came up short on, like, in multiplayer for some reason it didn't have bullet decals, like when you shoot at a wall, nothing was left behind. I don't know why, but in single player it did. So it was a sacrifice that I guess Treyarch thought was, it's Treyarch, right? I think it, whatever. No, that's Halo, isn't it? Fucking, I don't know who makes these games, who cares? I care. So they left that out of the multiplayer. I guess they thought that it was a sacrifice that was necessary to keep up when, maybe when using the second controller or something, which is the major feature that made it stand out. You can't do that on another console. You can't have a separate screen with a single console. In order to have two separate screens where both people can't see each other's screen and get a full screen experience would require two systems and two TVs. So you must understand that that requires the Wii U to do some extra work, because it's got to create two completely separate full 720p, I believe it sends to the Wii U controller streams. So I think that that's where some of the sacrifices come from. It also was a little bit short on anti-aliasing. We saw a few more jags on the Wii U version than we did on the 360 version. Besides that, the only other differences, like I just said, was the Wii U pad. When you're not doing multiplayer and splitting the screen, you get extra advantages like seeing a full map of whatever multiplayer map you're on, a little tactical overview of what you're playing with, and a little bit of other info on your HUD. We didn't get to the RTS campaign missions, so I'm not sure how that comes into play. One would suspect that it's a lot more intuitive when doing those RTS missions, because that one was all about the overhead map. But again, we didn't play through. We don't really have the time this week to play through to that point, and I haven't Googled it. I'm sorry, I went straight to bed last night. We followed that up with some indie games. I called it an indie roundup, but we did miss out on, I guess, two titles. Trine, which I kept on saying is kind of like, it's like indie, but it's like high caliber indie, and then and we're also going to be doing our own long haul on that somewhere down the road once the costumes are ready. Spoilers. And the other game that we missed out on was Chasing Aurora, and the reason for that is that we're going to do that when we have 5 players available, because it is fun. We played it at PAX. It is an amazing 5-player game, and I'm excited to play it with the gang. So that's why we left those out. But we did play Mighty Switch Force, which is fun, and it's cute, and it's got a really neat... It's got a simple mechanic. You run around. It's just a standard platformer at first, and you're after these little blonde, pretty girls that got out of a police van, I guess, and have escaped. They also seem like they might be supervillains because they have the ability to spawn monsters. But they have taken off, and you have to recollect them as a police officer girl. And she's got the ability to activate switches throughout the level. So every level has 2 switches, some that are deactivated, some that are activated. At first, they're just all yellow. And so when you hit the switch, the ones that are deactivated come to the foreground, and the ones that are activated deactivate and go to the background. And so you can hop on the ones that are in the foreground, and you have to, like, sometimes platform across them. Just watch the video, but it's just it's switching things so you can keep on through the... It's a puzzle platformer. It gets a little more complicated as time goes on. There's eventually blocks that if you hit the switch, they come into the foreground and propel you into places and stuff. And it was actually quite surprising to us how quickly it ramped up its sort of puzzliness using such a what on the surface seemed to be a very simple mechanic. I think Becky's excited to play that one on her own. The other game we covered was Nano Assault Neo, which was awesome, but kind of nausea-inducing. I'm not sure if it was because we were really hungry and had already been staring at a screen for about 5 hours at that point. But all three of, well, I think Ben and I mainly, Becky said she felt a little bit of it. we were all feeling a little bit like queasy after playing it. It's because it's one of those bullet hell shooters, which are tough to begin with, I think you'll all admit. But then in addition to that, you are in a 3D landscape. You're rotating around this cell, destroying viruses that are coming at you on it. It's a twin-stick shooter, bullet hell. I guess that's what would be the best way to say it. A 2.5D twin-stick bullet hell shooter. It is gorgeous, and but again, the problem with that game and ones like Dyad that we've played on the show, and I guess if you really want to get into it, Guitar Hero or Rock Band, is that it just, you know, all that stuff coming at you just really kind of messes with your eyes after a while. But it was fun and probably worth it's measly $10 on the Wii U shop. The last game, or rather the first of the indie games that we did play though was, and we spent the longest time with, Little Inferno, which was basically what you thought it would be. You burn things in your Little Inferno Entertainment fireplace. As you burn things, they produce money for you. In fact, they produce more money for you than what you paid for the things. There must be, even one of the characters in the game acknowledges that this can't last forever. How could this happen? It seems like it's working towards some sort of message about consumerism. World of Goo, also by the same creators, by Two Boy Productions, had a similar message about consumerism. We're waiting for it to unveil that message, but right now it's just full of weirdness and quirkiness and a little bit of tempered with creepiness, I guess is what you'd say. So where does that leave us? By the way, we will be long hauling Little Inferno. Where that leaves us is we've pretty much played everything that we want to play. Today, we are going to be playing the lukewarm reviewed Epic Mickey. We thought that this would... I recall the original Epic Mickey getting lukewarmish results, saying like true fans of Disney will still want to play it. But then this one is getting a little less than lukewarm. I think it's because it's being docked points for not improving upon what it did in the first one. The problems people had in the first one. That's usually what happens with a sequel. If a sequel comes and it hasn't addressed the issues that people had with the first one, then it loses even more points because of that. So I'm expecting it'll be just as, like, the same caliber as the first game. I've never played the first game, so I'm still interested. I'm still kind of excited to check it out. And while I'm almost certain it's not going to be worth its full price, we'll check it out and try to determine that for you then. And we're gonna play. Yeah, we're just gonna have some fun with it. I hate to say that we're not excited for it. It's probably, though, the least exciting title we've covered this week. Why am I doing this? No, it's gonna be amazing. I'm promoting the show. Come on out. It's gonna be fun. We'll have fun with it regardless. You know how we have fun with any game. Sure we do. So after that, I'm just looking at the list here. I said that I wanted to cover Darksiders on the Wii, but I was reading the reviews, and it seems like it's pretty much the same, you know, as the other versions. And in addition to that, speaking of the other versions, the PC version is now like $13. Sorry, on Steam. It makes it kind of difficult for me to purchase it for $59.99 on the Wii U when it's probably just going to have, from what I've seen, a few little extra doodads on the gamepad screen. So I'm going to think about that one, but I feel like we should cover Darksiders, especially since it's a budget-ish title now. But I feel like it should be on the PC. I don't know if I want to, like, I mean, you know, it is a show budget, but at the same time, I don't want to throw money away unnecessarily, right? I'll think about it. What do you guys think? And then Batman Arkham City Armored Edition, same thing. We've played that game all the way through, although we'd like to do a comparison video. The reason we did a comparison video on the Call of Duty thing is because that's like, you know, that's what everybody's going to be the go-to to compare for graphics and stuff like that. Although we could do a graphical comparison with Batman Arkham City. We can't with Mass Effect 3 because we haven't played Mass Effect 3, spoilers and stuff, right? But we're not going to do a comparison with Arkham City. I don't think it's necessary. And I've heard that actually some people consider the tagged on little, you know, functionality on the pad to actually be restrictive, or like it's forcing you to use it. I can't speak with authority on this, but that would be a shame if you're forced to use some of the extra. I like when the Wii U pad adds things, but doesn't force you to use things that you wouldn't have to on other consoles. Like, I like it when it just gives you an alternative way to play. Again, I can't speak with authority to this, so, but I just don't feel like it's a really great use of our time, especially since in order to see those things, to really get a good opinion on them, we'd have to play quite far into the story in order to get all the gadgets that they're talking about that have new ways of being used. So we're gonna go ahead and skip that one. Ninja Gaiden Razor's Edge. Are you guys interested in us playing that? Let me know. It's the most violent title on the Wii U, which makes me want to kind of play it, but it's also getting reviews. So people say it's just kind of the same thing. Like they refined a few of the things that they had problem with the first game, and it's supposed to be just slightly improved. Rabbids Land is getting bad reviews, really bad reviews. I was surprised at that. People say it's like not even close to as good as Nintendo Land or something like that. So that brings us actually to all the other titles that we are going to play with the gang, and that's why we haven't played New Super Mario Bros. U yet. We haven't played Tank 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 and Rabbids Land. We will be playing those, but I want to wait until we have the whole group of us to play it. So that's going to start this Friday. I think this Friday we will start with New Super Mario Bros. U. Why not? And then maybe we'll follow it up with Chasing Aurora or something like that. And then, yeah, we have Tank 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 and Rabbids Land on the list as well. So those are the major multiplayer titles that we're going to be looking at. Tekken Tag Tournament, I think that we're also going to take a crack at some point, especially the Wii only features. It looks kind of like a fun time. I think that's all I have to say about that. So I guess I'm just still on the fence about what to do with Darksiders and Ninja Gaiden, whether they're worth covering or not, and especially Darksiders, whether I should play it on the Wii U when it's only $13 right now on the PC. I do want to cover that title though, regardless. So that brings us to today, and I'll see you there when we play Epic Mickey, The Power of Two. And then the week continues into the weekend. I do believe we're going to try to do a Friday show and a Saturday show. It's Deacon's birthday on Saturday, so maybe an early afternoon show. You know, like maybe before he goes out for his birthday. And then that's going to bring us to the end of the Wii U week, I guess. And then we can finally start to check out some of the other stuff that's come out, like finish our Assassin's Creed playthrough, Hitman, PlayStation All-Stars. Let's say maybe Hitman on Sunday. I think that might be good. Hitman on Sunday. Finally check that out. And then PlayStation, well, unless I can get the guys on Sunday, then maybe PlayStation All-Stars. I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. There's so much to cover. I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and see you today at probably about 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific. Yeah, let's do it earlier than usual. See you soon.